Well, hello everyone. My name is Bryan Stevens, and I am the President and CEO of the Hampton Roads Chamber. Welcome to another edition of Chamber Chats. We're extremely honored today to have a colleague of mine and a good friend of mine, Bob McKenna, who is the President and CEO of the Virginia Peninsula Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, Bob.
Hey, thanks for having me, Bryan, and thanks for calling me a colleague and a friend. I'm honored to be here. This is great.
Well, great, Bob. Well, again, President and CEO of the Virginia Peninsula Chamber of Commerce, and you've been doing it, I think, for a couple of years now.
3.5.
3.5 years now. So tell us a little bit
flies.
about yourself and a little bit about your chamber.
So, retired Navy captain, went to the Merchant Marine Academy up in New York, and shortly after took a commission in the Navy and stayed for 27 years. I thought I was going to do it for about 3, and ended up staying for 27.
Yeah,
so,
I know how that goes.
Yeah, right. I'm going to go in and get some experience, and then I'm going to get out and go make a lot of money. But then you become passionate about the military.
Yeah.
So I loved my career in the Navy. Did about 6 years as a defense contractor after that. Did some work with the Peninsula Chamber in one of my roles as a defense contractor, and then somehow got the job.
Yeah.
I've always said, get me an interview and I can get the job.
Yeah.
So I got the job, and it's just been a godsend. I love the job, and I love working with people like you and other regional leaders. So it's fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic job for all those reasons. You know, the people you get to work with and the impact that you have
Right.
in the region. You know, we have a very important mission. Chambers of Commerce in general have a very important mission, which in my lingo, I say it's setting conditions so that businesses can be a success.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on the mission of the Chamber and why it's so important to our business community?
So obviously I agree with you. It's setting conditions for businesses to succeed, but it's also setting conditions in the community to attract new businesses and to
Right.
grow
Right.
existing businesses.
Yep.
So working with other regional leaders on important issues to the region, just like transportation and healthcare and education, those types of things. And I think that a chamber brings that value to the table, so businessmen are focused on their businesses, right? So we represent those businessmen in creating the conditions that are necessary for the economy to grow.
Yeah.
So I like to call myself a professional friend and a connector, because I'm just out all the time meeting people and having coffee and talking to them about what's important to them as citizens and as business owners.
So if I'm a business leader, whether I'm a small business owner, an entrepreneur, or whether I'm a business leader in a corporation, why would I join a Chamber of Commerce?
So I think for many reasons, right? And we're actually going through an assessment right now of what value do we bring to businesses, right?
Yeah.
So when you have businesses that are home-based businesses all the way up through the largest industrial employer in the state of Virginia, Newport News Shipbuilding, you have to find ways to bring values to all different levels. So those home-based businesses, I think the value that we bring is educational and networking. So coffee connections, those types of events where they can come in and they can exchange business cards and they can meet people, and we help them make connections. And then to the larger businesses, I think the advocacy role that you and I have already teamed up on is so important, because it's so important to advocate for pro-business policies at all levels of the government. So it's a mixed bag, but and when you have a staff of 4, trying to bring value to a whole bunch of different levels and sizes and sectors of business is a challenge. But it's a challenge that we're up to, and that I enjoy very much.
Yeah, and you do very well, I might add.
Thank you. I'm learning. So I've been in this job now 3.5 years, and that's the longest I've been in a job in my entire career. Right? And people say, well, you were in the Navy for 27 years, but what do we do in the military?
Every couple of years?
Every 2 years you change jobs, and you have to hit the deck running and learn a new job. So I've been in this one for 3.5 years. You would think that I would be pretty good at it, so
Yeah.
but still a lot to learn.
You know, one of the things that I think the military does so well, Bob, is collaborate. You know, you got the joint operations, you got multinational operations, and they all collaborate to accomplish a mission.
Right.
I think Hampton Roads as a business community has really made some strides these last several years in collaborating, and I think our public sector has as well. I think the narrative that there's no collaboration in Hampton Roads is really a legacy narrative right now.
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts on that, and why is collaboration so important?
So one of the things that I already mentioned was ensuring that we have good healthcare, good public schools, good transportation, and those things require regional cooperation,
Yeah.
right? So, as you mentioned, about 3.5, 4 years ago, when I came into this job, you guys, you meaning the other regional business leaders, welcomed me into a group where we work together all the time. So that, you're absolutely right, that false narrative about Hampton Roads not collaborating should be put to rest.
Mhm.
And I think entering the pandemic last year, we saw an even greater need to collaborate,
Yeah.
to give a boost to our local economy and to fix things like roads and healthcare and education and to work together. So now we've got this I-64 innovation corridor, right, that
Yeah.
starts in the south side of Hampton Roads, goes through the peninsula, goes to Richmond, goes out to Charlottesville, and it's all the universities working together to bring a better product and to bring a better reputation to our region.
Yeah. I think a mark of leadership is the ability to collaborate. And I happen to know that you run a dynamic leadership development program. Tell us a little bit about your leadership program.
So Lead Peninsula has been run for 25, 30 years now, and we have thousands of graduates, and we sell this as a civic immersion course. So what it is, it's a 10-month program where we take a behind the scenes look at what makes the peninsula work, right? And that's federal impacts of the military installations that we have there. It's healthcare, it's transportation, it's workforce development, and we've actually added something on citizenship this year. So we bring in between 40 and 50 emerging and recognized leaders from around the peninsula, from all walks of life. And they network together, they become friends, and they become collaborators, working together to make the peninsula a better place. So we don't call it a leadership institute per se, but it gives the participants some great tools in their toolbox to be better community leaders and not just leaders in their own organizations.
Yeah, and that's so important, growing this next generation of leaders, letting them get together, build that social capital so that they can collaborate and really change the region for the better.
Well, and then us old guys need to get out of the way at some point, right? And I was just talking to Jim Carroll, and he said he's, getting ready to move on his third retirement eventually, and I said, yeah, it's kind of time that we start, and we've talked about
Yeah.
that, when is the
Yeah.
right time to go? But as long as I love my job and I have the energy to get out of bed every morning, I'm going to keep doing this one for a while.
Well, speaking of leadership, as you know, every year we do a leadership exchange program, which is really an interregional visit where we go to other regions and we try to gather best practices and bring them back to Hampton Roads. You've gone on those visits with us in the past, and you're going with us this year to Denver. Tell us a little bit about why it's important that we do these visits and why you want to attend with us.
So I attended the Raleigh-Durham visit about 2 years ago now, I guess it was. And it was just a great experience. It was on many levels, right? So I got to meet new people from the region, regional leaders from Hampton Roads, and we went together to learn how another area that's kind of a competitor to our area,
Oh, yeah.
or our region, how they do business. And because we have to continue to learn, right? We can't settle into complacency and say, well, this is the way we've always done it. And one of the ways that we learn is by reaching out to other regions and see how they're doing it. And so I told you I was going to work my granddaughter into this. When I signed up to do the Denver trip, my daughter and granddaughter and son-in-law were living in Denver. So I said, boy, this is killing two birds with one stone. And now they moved to Greenville, North Carolina. So hopefully we'll go to Greenville next year. But it's just a great opportunity to go see leaders from a different city who have similar challenges to us and are maybe attacking them in a different way, in a way that's maybe working better or maybe worse, but we can always learn.
Yeah,
Right?
can always learn. It's about constant, never-ending improvement, which is what we're trying
That's
to do
it,
here.
yeah, continual improvement.
Yeah.
That should be the goal every single day.
Bob, you and I both enjoy our jobs so much, but being a president and CEO of a Chamber of Commerce does have its challenges. What are your biggest challenges as CEO of the Virginia Peninsula Chamber of Commerce?
So, well, I think I kind of touched on it a little bit already. It's how do you bring value to everything from the sole proprietorship up to a large industrial employer, right? And so you have to always be open to new ideas, creative and imaginative in your leadership, and talking to people. So, okay, here's my greatest challenge since I've been here. when everybody went home for 6 months last year at the beginning of the pandemic. And I couldn't go out and meet new people and sit and have coffee with them and have coffee connections where my wife always accuses me of working the room, but that's why we love the job, right? Work the room, meet new people, exchange business cards, exchange ideas, find out how we can bring value to the businesses. So when we were sitting at home and I was working from my kitchen table and looking at people like you on Zoom for 6 hours a day, the job wasn't that much fun, right?
Yeah.
But because the fun part about the job is gaining energy from the people that we surround ourselves with. So, but I don't see a whole lot of challenges otherwise.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because staying
you-
in the Navy for 27 years, it was always a challenge. But at the end of every day, I knew that I was doing something valuable
Making a difference.
and making a difference. And then when I was a defense contractor, not so much, making good money, but not making a difference. And now I'm making a difference every day again.
Yeah.
So it's just a wonderful job.
Well, I can tell you are making a difference. You're an outstanding leader. You're doing some great work running that chamber over there.
Appreciate that.
And again, we're just proud to have you here today, and I'm proud to have you as my friend.
Absolutely, and I feel exactly the same way. So I always tell people Bryan Stevens is my chamber big brother. So he's kind of showing me the ropes a little bit at a time, and we've developed a great working relationship. So
Absolutely.
I really and friendship. So I appreciate that greatly, and I appreciate being with you today.
Well, thanks for being here. We really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this edition of Chamber Chat. Thank you very much for watching.